Hey there, do you want to learn all about the VLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel? If yes, then this video is absolutely for you. Do watch it without the fail. In this video, I'm going to explain the easy steps to use the VLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel. I will take you through complete steps in constructing the VLOOKUP function from scratch. And all this has been done using a very simple data, which will be very easy to recreate and understand. And you can easily get this exercise file, which we are going to use in this video. You can just go ahead and download it in your system using the link provided in the description of this video. So go ahead, watch this complete video and practice this concept in the exercise file provided to you and become the master of VLOOKUP. Hello everyone, welcome back to this Microsoft Excel tutorial journey with me on my Knowledge Factor YouTube channel. This is session number 120 and we are learning the lookup functions in Microsoft Excel. During this exercise, we are going to take a look at perhaps one of the most common, most advanced function that you are going to find inside of Microsoft Excel. Now, there is definitely more advanced type functions inside of Excel, but I would say that this is perhaps one of the most common ones that people want to learn about as they get into the more advanced functions in Microsoft Excel. So during this video, we are going to take a look at VLOOKUP or the vertical lookup. So that's a great feature, great functionality, great function. Go ahead, watch this complete video, and definitely you are going to master on this concept. So open in front of you, I have got the exercise file. I am still inside Excel 103 advanced exercise file, right? And I'm looking at the VLOOKUP function worksheet. And as I said that you can just go ahead and download this complete worksheet, practice sheet, whatever you call it, from the description of this video. I provide the link to download this file there. Okay, so now there's actually going to be two worksheets that we are going to play with in this video, the VLOOKUP function worksheet, and right next door we have got the master employee list or the master emp list, right? And you can see here it's got column headers along the top, and we have talked about the list, right? And it got the rows as well down below. So if you have not watched my video on Excel list, I have provided the link at the top here. You can go ahead and watch that as well, right? It's a recommendation for you. So here it's not a very big list. So it's just got 38 rows, 37 records minus the header there, right? So it's not a huge list, but it's going to get and demonstrate this concept of working with the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to go back to the VLOOKUP function worksheet. Now here's the scenario. First let's understand the scenario. So somebody comes to you and say, hey, we have got the master list of all the employees, all their employee IDs, the first name, last name, department, email ID, phone extension, location, hire date and pay rate. So got all their informations. So what he asks is, all I need to do is just a little subset of this complete data, not all of it, but just about few employees, a custom list of employees, right? And the information about the employees. Well, you have got couple of ways you can do this. You can do filtering, sorting, copy, pasting, right? But you can do a few techniques to try get the data out of the list that those users are looking for. Well, that person, so they were nice enough to give you the partial list of employee ID right here, right? And so they gave you all the employee IDs that they need, and it's up to you now to fill in the rest of the information, the first name, last name, department and pay rate. So you need to now get the first name, their last name, their department, pay rate, right? And all of that information is on the master employee list here. Well, let's see the steps that how the VLOOKUP or the vertical lookup can do this job for you in less than a minute. Now the first name column is already done for you. I did that one, and you can use that as a reference point if you would like to, but it's already done. Now let's hop over to the last name. Okay, so the VLOOKUP, right, is essentially going to do what you would do manually if you are going to fill this out, right? So let's say if I take the manual route, if I was going to fill this out by the hand, I would say, okay, well, they want the employee number 1054, right? So let's check 1054 in the master list. I'll go here. I would then go over to the master employee list. I will look for the employee ID column and I will look for that employee number 1054. Oh, so 1054 is here. Now, what did they need? I'll just go back again here. Oh, they wanted the last name. Again, I will come up here in the master employee list. Okay, so the master employee list 1054, their last name is Smith. Copy it, hop back over to the VLOOKUP worksheet and just paste it here. And I would do it for the department and the pay rate, and would do it for each of the employees, right? Could you imagine doing this by hand? That would take a good portion of your day, right? So instead of us manually doing it, let's learn the powerful function in the Microsoft Excel that's called the VLOOKUP function. So I'm going to hop over here to D3. That's where I want last name to show up. Now I'm going to start to type this VLOOKUP by hand, and then I'm going to open up the insert function window. So let's type equals VLOOKUP, open the parenthesis, there it is. So it's got 1, 2, 3 and 4 pieces of information that it needs from us in order for it to do its job. So essentially, go find the employee ID 1054, go to the master employee list, look for the last name, return that back to me where it matches the employee ID that I gave you, right? So once that's typed in, I'm thinking to hit the little FX button here. So this will open up the first function argument window for me, make it a more much more visual for us to understand. So the first thing that wants to know is the lookup value. Okay, so the lookup value means Excel is asking that what am I going to search for in order for you to find the last name. Well, the lookup value, I'm going to give it cell B3 because I want to search B3, right, which is 1054. So I will say Excel after typing B3 that's what I want you to look for in order to find the last name, right? Now eventually, and please pay attention here, this part is important, eventually I'm going to copy this formula down to the rest of the employee IDs as well, right? And I want to copy to the right to get to the department and the pay rate as well. So this B3 reference, this guy right here, I'm going to make it a partial absolute value. So with my cursor flashing in there, I'm going to tap the F4 key, function key F4 at the top of my keyboard, and I'm going to hit not once, not twice, but 3 times. So I want to lock the B column, so it's going to be $B3. Okay, so if the function F4 key is not working in your system, if that key is having some issue, then you just go ahead and type in $B3. Okay, now we want to lock B, and in that way I just drag down and column B stays the same. The row can change while we are dragging it down, right? But the column B should be static. And also as we drag it to the right for the department and pay rate, there also we want the B column to remain the same. So whether you just copy it to the bottom or to the right, you want the B column to be static, and this number 3, 4, 5, 6, so this can get changed, but the B column should be static. That's the reason we are going to just lock down the B by putting the $sign before that. Alright, now next thing it wants to know is, well, great, you are looking for this employee ID, right? Now where do you want me to find it? That's the next question. That's the table array. Well, the data for us is on the master employee list, so I'm going to click on the table array, master employee list, right? So there it is inside the table array argument, and I'm now going to grab the entire list. So I'll just going to go from A1. So I'm going to use a shortcut key here. I'm going to just do Control Shift and down arrow, and that will select all the way down, and then again Control Shift right arrow, and that will select all the way to the right. So now you can see my master employee list cell A1 to I38. Make sure you grab the entire list, even the headers along the top. Okay, now this range, right, this range right here, that needs to be absolute. Okay, so I always want to use that same range when I copy this formula. So what I will do, I'm going to just highlight A1 to I38 and hit F4 key on my keyboard, and I have now got the dollar sign in there to make that an absolute range. Okay, now remember, if your F4 key is again not working in your keyboard, then just go ahead and type the dollar sign. Just type dollar sign A, dollar sign 1, dollar sign I, dollar sign 38. Alright, so what are you looking for and where am I going to find it now? We answered that question to Excel, right? Now something very important about that master employee list. In the VLOOKUP, when you specify the table array, it needs to look up value to be in the first column of that list. Right here, the first column of the list. So inside of the master employee list worksheet, column A is the employee ID as what we are looking for. Very important to keep this in mind. Okay, all right, let's move ahead. So the next thing, I'll just go back to VLOOKUP function. So the next thing I want to know is the column index num, right? It needs to know, well, okay, I'm looking for this value B3, right? I'm going to look in this list, in the employee list, looking the first column, find that employee ID that matches what you're looking for. Great. And then it wants to know which column do you want to return back once I find the employee ID. If I go here, I found the employee ID, then which column you want to find? So that's the question, right? Well, I want to find the last name. Okay, so we'll call them column index num, master employee list, right? So the column that the last name is in column number 1, 2, right? So last name is in column number 2. So I'm going to hop over here again. I'll just wipe this out and I'm just going to put the number 2. Okay, the column index number. So let's get 2 there. And then the last one, the final one, is the range lookup. So it is an optional value. You don't have to have this, but range lookup down here, if you see, it tells you a little bit about what range lookup is. So it's a logical value, all right, to find the closest match. They are talking about the lookup value, which is 1054 or whatever the employee ID is, to find the closest match in the first column. Okay, remember that, sorted in ascending order. So we are going to put true or leave it blank, and we are going to omit it. Well, we are looking for the specific employees. So you know what, I don't want to find the closest match if that 1054 doesn't exist in the list. So basically I want to find the exact match. So just find 1054 employee or don't find it. If it's not there, return the error, right? Well, in order to find an exact match, we will put false here. So I'm just going to say range lookup is false. Okay, so now I said it's optional, but 90 to 95% of the time that I use a VLOOKUP, I always use false because I want to find the exact match. Now, if it can't find an employee ID, if it does not find 1054, then the VLOOKUP returns an error. And that's what these guys right here are. These NAs, because I left the cell blank. These cells are blank. That's the reason they are not able to find that and returning pound NA. Right? So it didn't have anything to find. So we'll talk about those some more later on, right? But that's it. So just to recap, what are you looking for? Where am I going to find it? And remember, the first column of the table array is going to search that vertically. And what am I going to return back to you? I mean, which column do you want? And then whether or not you want to find the exact match. And that's it. So I can just hit OK. And there's a Smith. Now I can drag that down. I'll just copy this formula to below cells and populate them all. Done, right? No need to copy, paste, filter, sort, search, right? It's done very easily through the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP does it all for you. Alright, cool, right? And I want you to try this out, right? Hop over to the department column and then pay rate column and repeat this exercise to find the values in these two columns using the VLOOKUP. Remember 4 little things. What are you looking for? Where are you going to find it? Which column do you want to return back to you once it's found? And whether or not you want to find the exact match of vertical lookup, the VLOOKUP inside of Excel, right? So try it out. and then we'll meet up in the next session. So that's all I had for today. Hope you understood this VLOOKUP function, right? And hope you will be able to, implement this VLOOKUP function in your next task in Microsoft Excel. And just practice on this, and then we'll meet up in the next session. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and as I always say, if you're really liking this video and enjoying this journey, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel, and also press the bell icon and select it to all to get the latest content update on this channel. Alright, then we'll meet up in the next session. In case you have any questions, any concerns, then please let me know in the comment section of this video. So see you in the next session. Till then, stay safe, have a great life, and take very good care of yourself.